I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody...
When the rain finally spoke and Taehyung listened, it didn't begin with a stage or lights or the roar of an arena. It began in the kind of stillness that makes you hear your own heartbeat. For years, Kim Taehyung had carried something inside him, a name he never said aloud, a memory he never set free. He gave the world his laughter, his warmth, his songs. But sometimes, just sometimes, when the camera caught him unguarded, there was a flicker in his eyes. A shadow. Like he was standing in two places at once, here with us and somewhere far away with someone only he remembered. And then one night he stopped running from it. It wasn't planned. No announcement, no polish set up. A late-night livestream appeared without warning. The room behind him was dim, the light soft, his sweater loose on his shoulders. His hair fell over his forehead like it had forgotten the world was watching. He didn't greet ARMY with his usual bright tone. Instead, his gaze fell to the mug in his hands, tracing the rim as if it held the words he couldn't yet speak. "I don't usually talk about this," he began, voice low, like the start of a confession he wasn't sure he had permission to give. "But there's someone I once wrote every song for." The comments exploded instantly. But Taehyung didn't look at them. His eyes stayed somewhere far away, fixed on a memory only he could see. "I thought staying quiet would make it easier," he said, pausing as though weighing each word. It didn't. It never did. The silence that followed felt heavier than any melody he had ever sung. His eyes glistened, not the kind of shine that stage lights create, but the kind born from years of keeping something too precious locked away. "There were nights," he said softly, "when I sang on stage and pretended they were listening, even though I knew they weren't." Somewhere across the world, thousands of ARMYs leaned closer to their screens, as if proximity might keep him talking. He gave a small smile then, fragile, bittersweet. "I don't know if they'll ever hear this. But if they do, I meant every word. Then and now." He didn't end with a wave or a joke. Just a whisper, half for himself, half for someone else. "Some love stories don't end," he said. "They just learn to live differently." And then the screen went black. The night after. The next night, Seoul looked the same. But it felt different. For ARMY, the air itself seemed heavier, charged. Clips of his livestream traveled like candlelight passed hand to hand. Some fans memorized the tremble in his voice. Others just stared at their screens, unsure why their own hearts ached for a story they'd never lived. And in a small apartment, far from the noise, Taehyung sat with the same mug from the night before. The tea had gone cold, but his hand stayed wrapped around it like an anchor. He reached for a leather notebook, edges worn, pages uneven. In the middle, a single sheet was folded more than the rest. When he opened it, there it was. The song. Their song. He read the words slowly, almost afraid they might dissolve if he touched them too hard. Then, barely above a breath, he hummed the melody. The sound was so quiet it could have been mistaken for remembering. He thought of the first time he played it for them, no stage, no cameras. Just a rainy night, a dim room, and the way their eyes made him believe every lyric. He closed the notebook, leaned back, and stared at the ceiling. Somewhere outside, the city kept moving. But in his mind he was back in that room, still singing, still waiting for a voice to answer. The reply that wasn't a reply. It started with a photograph. Not from him. From them. An account that had been silent for months suddenly posted, a rain-streaked window, a candle burning faintly in the corner. No caption. No location. But ARMY noticed. They always notice. The rain. The candlelight. The same quiet he'd been sitting in that night. Comments flooded in. "Did you watch Taehyung's live? Is this about him? Please say this is real." No reply came. The photo stayed, like a single note left to ring in the air. Then came the second clue. A leaked rehearsal clip, 7 seconds. Taehyung with a guitar playing the melody from that night. But this time he sang new words. "I thought I lost you in the rain. But you were listening all along." The video cut off before the next line. It was enough. Theories lit up every platform. Was this his answer to the photo? Or just a coincidence too perfect to be chance? Taehyung never said. But at his next concert in Bangkok, he did something he'd never done before. During the final encore, he walked to the edge of the stage, looked out, not at everyone but through the crowd like searching for one face. And then he spoke. "Thank you," he said. 2 words. That was all. But his smile was slow, deliberate, like someone who had finally sent the letter they'd been writing for years. And somewhere, maybe in another city, maybe just beyond the venue walls, someone heard him. The rain began again. The letter that never left the desk. The rain didn't stop that night. It stayed, tapping against the windows of Seoul like fingers that refused to give up. In the quiet of his apartment, Taehyung sat at his desk, a blank sheet of paper in front of him. His guitar leaned in the corner, strings still humming from the last song of the concert. The mug was gone now, replaced by a pen uncapped and waiting. He thought of writing the words out. Not as lyrics. Not as a post. Just as they were. Do you remember that night? He whispered to himself as if the page could answer. The ink moved slowly, careful, like each letter carried too much weight to rush. He didn't write names. He didn't need to. Both of them would know. Halfway through he stopped. Folded the paper once. Twice. Slipped it into an envelope without sealing it. The letter stayed there unposted on the desk. Like the confession on his live stream, it was both spoken and unsent. The song that found its way. Weeks later, a new song appeared in an anonymous playlist on an obscure streaming account. It wasn't credited. No album cover. Just a title. When the rain finally spoke. It was his voice. Soft, almost whispering, carrying lines no one had heard before. If you hear this in the quiet. Know I was singing for you. Even when I didn't know if you were listening. The track was deleted within hours. But not before ARMY found it, saved it, spread it. By the time Taehyung posted on his own account again, it was just a simple photo of a window, open this time. The rain had stopped. No caption. No reply. Only the sound of the wind carrying something unspoken, but no longer entirely hidden. That night the rain in Seoul did stop. But for some hearts the drops were still falling, not from the sky, but from memories suddenly pulled back into the light. The song that was uploaded and then erased felt like a message in a bottle, washed ashore for only a few to find. Not everyone heard it. But for those who did, it was like reading a secret never meant for public eyes. Somewhere beyond the screen, maybe in another city, maybe only a few streets away, someone pressed play, letting each word seep into a place they hadn't dared to touch in years. Was it an accident? Or was it a call meant for one heart only? The question echoed in ARMY's minds, replayed alongside the audio they had saved just before it disappeared. Taehyung gave no sign. No clarification. No denial. Only a photo of an open window, as if to say the wind was now free to come and go, and for anyone who wished to enter, the door was no longer locked. And this is where we must wonder, if that song was an invitation, will someone answer? Or is this simply the next chapter of a love that will live behind the curtain, never truly stepping into the world's light? The answer may already be waiting in the next video, and when the time comes we will hear it, see it, and maybe witness the meeting that, until now, has only existed in dreams.
The end of the song. Next time you'll sing along. Trust me, there's nothing wrong. I just need to carry on, 'cause society's a myth put there to make you sit. Listen to what they give. Don't ask questions, shut your lid. Yeah, don't ask questions, shut your lid.